Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is December the 5th, and I want to talk about just another tool that I have for people specifically who get the weekly readings. There's 2 levels in my membership site that get the weekly readings, because right now my focus is trying to get people to see we have to track. I created a video of the journal guide that I have put out for everybody to use for free. So you can go to my membership site, patreon.com/goddessbodymindspirit, and download it yourself and use it to help create a focus for you for the month of December 2019. Now, what I wanted to do, because I had mentioned I would show you all what I create on a weekly basis, because I find for me, as I talked to you all about in the video that I created on just how journaling is so important, is once I began to realize what is the energy, because I've done readings for myself for a while, but bringing in more form and structure and astrology into it, it really helped me to begin to think about, okay, this is what I know I want to work on, and this is how I'm going to use the energy each week. And I am hoping that I begin to show people, yeah, it does take a certain amount of time out of your week and day and month to actually have to be aware and focused on it, which means we may not be aware and focused on, and I talked about in the one about the actual journal guide, how many of us are distracted, because for the month of December, the Odu that speaks is Ogunda, and Ogun is the energy that speaks through Ogunda, and Ogun is about focus. And so we need to be thinking about what is distracting us, because perhaps some of what is distracting us is the reason why we're not getting ahead. All right, it's literally a trick of the ego. Keep everybody in the dark. Don't let anybody know what's really going on. Make them think that they're lost and they'll never achieve their destiny, their goals, their dreams. All right. And my hope and prayer is that I can help people begin to realize we have to live like that. We do not have to live like that. All right. So, in my membership site, I create a video that goes over an oracle reading as well as the astrology for the week. And I do bring in what we talk about on a monthly basis to try to help people remember it. Because it's to a certain degree hard. Like, I began to realize if I do things on a monthly basis, it's really, really good. I like creating that overview. But sometimes I just needed a little bit more of a laser focus. And so I remember before I did astrology, membership site, all of that, I would do a monthly reading, actually on my YouTube channel. This is what I would do. I would do a monthly reading, and then I would do weekly readings using my oracle, the Metu Neter. This, I even get down like day by day, which I do a daily reading for myself, you know. So just the more specific we can get, the more laser focus we can have on the actual day. All levels of focus are important as I see it. And I've said it before, I think in my membership, you know, in the videos that I make in my membership site, that I need both. I need both astrology, numerology, you know, those types of oracles, as well as like my spiritual oracle decks. I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel better with both. And so that's what I typically try to do. I sort of feel like the first part of the reading is church or temple. You know, it's that time where you go and you hear, you hear a word from the Lord. You hear a word from the great mother, God. And it just is something for you to ponder in your soul. It's something to help elevate. It's that high spiritual. It's like, I even thought about it the other day. It's like Sagittarius. It's that higher philosophy. And you can, think about it in a more broad way. And it helps to create more evolution in the soul, the spirit. And then there's the Gemini type information, day to day. This is where the planets are. This is what the focus is based on the numerology, whatever, which I don't really include numerology yet, just because I've been so focused on learning astrology. But, you can use numerology as specifically as astrology. So as you can see, for this is for the December 1st through 7th. And I use this black just because we're all into Capricorn now. It's like so many planets in Capricorn. And Capricorn is about, it's about corporate type colors. So I was like, let me put a little black on here for Capricorn. The colors that I use, typically they mean something like blue. Ma'at is typically related to blue. So, as you know, if you looked at the journal, I talked about what Ma'at means, and you can see here. I'm not going to really go through the reading and break it down, because really I'm just showing you the actual document that I create that you can print out and use it. And so it's the one journal that I create to go with the monthly reading. And actually, I do post my PowerPoint for the monthly reading. And then for the weekly reading, I post the video along with this document. So it's like you can get 5 readings, 5 documents to use each week. And it's almost like, for me, you can never get too lost. I mean, you can never get too much because otherwise I feel like I end up getting lost. But yeah, so I like having the video, but I also like this document because if I just really need to just really quickly go and see what was the energy that spoke this week, because I'm feeling like I'm about to go off on somebody. Oh, Ma'at. Okay, I need to make sure I remember Ma'at. And this, it says Ma'at Hetep, but it's really Ma'at Positive is what spoke in Tahuti Hetep. But sometimes the energy might be negative, just like in the monthly reading, it's dark deceased. So I'm dealing with my dark deceased this month. But I might need to go back and revisit that, and just be like, okay, this is what I know I need to be focused on. Dealing with dark deceased energy, dealing with my own stuff, whatever. So I like this document for the weekly readings because actually the weekly readings, it can be a lot. And it's hard to remember just hearing it. So you can have this document. Typically, I'm going to choose a goddess. I just stick with the goddess for the month, which for this month in December is Ma'at, just because that was the energy that spoke in the monthly reading. So one month I remember it was like Haru and Sebek, which are both masculine energies. And some kind of way, maybe it was based on, what Venus is doing, or it was something else that made it, for instance, Oshun. Oshun was the goddess for the month. But it just so happens this month it's Ma'at. And I show the remedies and the colors and incense and oils and crystals. Her metal, her metal is 10. What you can use to connect with this energy of Ma'at. So I try to make it as practical as possible. So then the one oracle that is in the weekly reading that I don't put in the monthly reading, but it's one that I choose for the whole month, is the Mayan Oracle. This month, for instance, is Akbal. And so you can see here, just giving credit. I give credit where it's due. It's not mine. I give credit. So This came from specifically the Mayan Oracle. It's what it means. So let's say, you're feeling like you're having a rough day. You could go refer back to this or the video. And it talks about this is what you might be challenged with. Viewpoint to internal, subjective, depression, self-judgment, fear of change. This is what Iqbal speaks to, when we're talking about it in the negative, in the struggle. And this is the remedy. Be willing to examine how you judge and evaluate yourself. And this was another reason I was like, no question in my eye is the goddess of the month, because she talks about that too. Don't be judgmental. You can judge a thing without being judgmental. It is possible. I find myself walking in judgment, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that, because I'm sending my energy out. And guess what? At the end of the day, I only have control over me. It gives me the opportunity to have that conversation with myself, is what I'm saying, right? And just, this is all from the Mayan Oracle book, symbols and all that kind of good stuff. So I even relate it to Capricorn and the winter. So just because some of this is related to that. Yeah. So that's the Mayan Oracle. I talked to y'all about the pathways and, in the video on the journal, because we had to write about having more joy and how do we self-sabotage. And that is what I re-emphasize in the weekly reading to kind of help people keep this focus for the month. I'm going to have to add the Odu. I hadn't added the Odus to this just because it's so much here. But I'm probably going to go back to I'm going to add the Odu here. That's going to be another evolution. Actually, animal totems, this is only the second month that I've added animal totems. I really love animal totems. And these actually come from the pathways, the seal and the butterfly. For people who like working with animal totems, this is another thing you could work with. And actually, the focus on the unconscious, I thought that was such an important one, because the scorpionic energy is to a large extent going to help us to work on our unconscious, really getting to why do we do what we do. And then, of course, transformation. That's what we're in the midst of. We have this scorpionic energy still, and then we have so much going on with this eclipse, a lot of transformation. So I decided to put the butterfly in. Of course, you get to choose how you work with these totems, right? And then I included the Astro Wisdom, or this is the second part of the reading, the Astro Wisdom. And I typically kind of give an overview of what it is. Let's see what it says. A major yearly shift is happening this week. Excitement is in the air. Jupiter is moving into Capricorn and will be there for 1 year. Our Capricorn houses can expect a boost despite any rough times that may appear. Jupiter moving into Capricorn is truly a special astrological event that we all need to take note of. The one thing that is a bit tricky is that Jupiter will be invisible shortly after it enters into Capricorn. That actually weakens it. Going invisible weakens it more than it being retrograde. So this week will be eventful as we have more energy in Capricorn. Other than that, there are 2 positive aspects to support you this week. Enjoy. Wishing you all an amazing week. So I try to just kind of give an overview. This is my favorite little chart. I might start posting this chart. I love this chart. I created this chart myself to just help me know. So this week, what are we dealing with? A lot of times we talk about, this and that is in Sagittarius and Scorpio and Capricorn and blah, 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 and all that kind of good stuff. And it's even hard to keep up with it. If you don't know astrology, you may not know any idea of what's going on. And we miss opportunities. So I like putting up this. And I like looking at what element am I dealing with this week. We are into the Orisha. So, this week we have fire But actually, today is the 5th. Oh, today is the 5th. The moon moved into Aries. So now you have a little more fire to get things done. Okay? And it was almost like as soon as the moon moved into Aries, Pisces had me torn up. Yeah, Pisces had me sleepy and wanting to just chill. Once the moon moved into Aries, I had a little extra fire, right? The modality, mutable versus fixed versus cardinal, depends on what color is, or what modality is the most. It's going to let you know, am I going to be starting new things, or am I sort of like holding steady, or is this a time to improve things? So that's what this is all about. And this sort of like gives when things are changing, kind of gives an overview. Like I said, y'all, this thing is an evolutionary process. As you can see, you're not gonna be lost with this. You will not be lost. This weekly overview, actually, I just created because I felt like a little bit too specific, get lost in, the actual aspects, Mars conjunct Venus and all of that. It can just, if you love astrology and this is your thing, you understand the language of astrology, you don't care when you hear that. It's like, thank you for giving me the aspect, because then that lets me know already what we're dealing with, right? But for most people, even for me, sometimes when I hear astrologers doing astrology, I'm like, oh, please, y'all, just make it plain, right? This is my way of trying to make it plain. So, for instance, I put this week is relatively chill when it comes to aspects, i.e. we don't have a lot. The biggest event is Jupiter moving into Capricorn and going invisible. And I give like how we start the week out. And I just kind of go, day by day based on the blocks. And typically it's sort of like a block of a couple of days, So this is going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Now, the other thing that happened is there's aspects that we're starting to feel now that won't start until next week, or maybe, like, for instance, this aspect is not even exact until December the 15th. But because I am your guide, I knew to tell you that you're starting to feel it on the 5th, and you will feel it through the 25th, even though you'll feel it most intensely closer to the 15th, right? So that's my job, because then you can begin to start, like, if this aspect actually really means something to what you're doing. Because for some of us, this aspect may mean a lot. For others, it may not mean as much. And what means a lot to me, maybe there's another aspect that doesn't mean that much to me, but it means everything to you and what you're working on in your chart. Okay. So this right here could be very meaningful, and I need to let you know so you can use this energy to the maximum. Before I knew astrology, even though I had an oracle, I was still sort of just free floating out there. The Neptune aspects. The Neptune. I don't know if y'all remember me talking about the Cosmic Homegirl. Actually, she's one of my teachers, and I was listening to her astrology lineup. She's really good. I love how all the astrologers are so good and they bring their own spin on things. But she is the one that helps me to understand these Neptune transits, or transits that have to do with Neptune and mutable signs. And so she was talking today actually about these Neptune aspects. And because I had done this guide, I knew exactly what she was talking about. They really don't start until next week. I don't even remember the dates. But I will include this for those of you in my membership site who are looking at this. I will include that next week. I'll talk more about it. Oh, here you go. December the 7th through the 9th. What she said about this is, be careful of people presenting themselves one way, like maybe they're sort of like hurt and broke, and they're really not. The example that she used was Trading Places, where Eddie Murphy is acting like a man with no legs, begging, can't see. And when the police came and confronted him, he was like, "Oh, look, I got legs. Like, all of a sudden I got legs." And they took the shades off his eyes. Oh, all of a sudden I can see. This is the example she used of what we could be experiencing. And some of that is because, you remember this table up here? We have Sagittarius in a mutable. It's mutable. Excuse me, the sun in Sagittarius, which is mutable. Neptune in Pisces, which is mutable. And the sun and Neptune are going to be making a square aspect, which is a challenging aspect. And so it's mutable, and it's Neptune, which Neptune itself is about, on a lower or more negative level, it's about illusions and deception. And so that's why we perhaps might feel like people are like playing on our emotions, because Sagittarius is about, being charitable. Even Neptune is about charitable, but it's square, which is challenging. And so she was saying, y'all watch out. Folks might be playing on your emotions, wanting you to give them something, and nothing's really wrong. They're shamming you. I love that about astrology. Love it. And this just helps people stay abreast of what's where, all that kind of good stuff. Giving you just, sort of like really from the monthly reading. You can see I'll just bring whatever I put in the monthly reading over here just to help people remember it. And these lunar aspects. Oh my gosh. So I give lunar wisdom, which is a subsection. It's all in of itself. So you can see where the moon is throughout the week, and the void, of course, which I'm telling y'all, these voids, my goodness, y'all know I complain about some of these void moons if I'm too tired during them or whatever. But yeah, I've learned, be careful of, what you're doing during the void. The thing to do during the void is to finish stuff up. And if you haven't taken a rest break, you might want to take a rest break during the void moon. But, you can optimize. So, for instance, right now the moon is in Aries. It brings energy and passion. Be ready to get lots done with focus and intensity, but also be sure to take breaks so as to not short circuit yourself. Great time for taking action. Working with Herakahuti Ogun. I need to put Ogun on there. Exercising and taking risks guided by wisdom. Even if you're not starting a new project, you can use the startup energy of Aries to start reworking other plans or on other projects that need finishing or are currently in process. Oh, I put it here. Great moon to work with Ogun, Herakahuti. And these are the health things that you might want to work on. Head, adrenals, combat inflammation, work your muscles, and eat adequate protein. So, yeah. And then I always just wish everybody a great week. So, yeah. Back to the first page. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you are new to my inner circle, this will explain to you exactly, especially if you're in the tier that gets these readings, that'll help you to understand what this weekly guide is that you can print out and use for yourself. For those who are not there, you know what I'm putting in here. So if you decide you want to join and get these roadmaps, I'm here for you. So this is Tyrone Milade, hoping that this has been helpful to you. Wishing you all just a supreme week, a supreme day, supreme life. Everything just so supreme. All right. It's Sagittarius. So supreme, great, grand, amazing. Life day, whatever. And if you would like to join me, patreon.com/goddessbodymindspirit. And also, if you need a reading, you can go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com, and go to my services page and request a reading there. I do appreciate you all, and hey, love you.